Right, so we're going to do a 35% race around Silverstone and last to first. See what happens. It looks like we're starting as Lando Norris on the medium tyre compared to everyone else who's on the soft compound tyre. We get a good start, but we go and we get clipped by Colapinto, but nothing too bad. We don't get any damage, I don't think, just a warning.
Systems all looking good.
Yeah, no damage, just a bit of a slide. Hopefully the tyres are alright, but we're running at standard damage, no simulation damage, just to record this first video. See how it goes. As we get a good exit into turn 4, I believe, going down the hanger straight, I want to call it, going into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Get a lot of understeer though. So from the behind of Gasly and Bortoletto as Liam Lawson shoots back past us and we go back into last place. We're lined up for a send on Lawson, but we don't quite get it. But we're going to burn the battery and hopefully go down outside. Yep, around the outside. This is all recorded in post as we go for a send. But yeah, this is all recorded in post. So I've done the race, recorded audio with it, but didn't record. So we're recording this in post. Hopefully it sounds alright. As we get the send on Lawson, as we're just now catching up to behind Gasly. We're about half a second behind. As we're gonna lock up slightly on the curb. Lawson sticks his nose in, but we just cover that off. Get another slide coming out of the final 3 turn. Yeah, the third to last turn. Going on to the start finish line. It's a 1:39.2 for our first lap, so nothing special, but it's a first lap, it doesn't really matter. Probably dropping out too many gears there, but we're just still within that 410. We get another slide, so it makes it more difficult for us to catch up there. Drop it into 4th by accident, I think. And we're going to open the DRS and try and catch up to them. The tyres are already wearing quite a bit. We're wearing them a lot higher than I think the soft runners are, but that's nothing to worry about. We'll be alright. We're going to pit on lap 8, go onto the hard compound tyre. Coming up to the back of Gasly now, this big DRS train. It's a massive train all the way up to P2 as Oscar Piastri's pulled out quite a big gap. I don't know if we're going to go for a send, but we're going to chuck the battery back into non and recharge. We go for a big send on Gasly and we don't make contact with him. We just squeeze him out wide a little bit. Got Bortoletto right ahead, get a good exit, yep. Piastri sets a 1:29.696. We cross the line to set a 1:30 dead, so we're not too far off him, and we were battling, so we should be able to go for fastest lap later in the race. We're right behind Bortoletto now. Again, a massive DRS train. They're all slowing down for some reason, but massive yellow flag. Ocon stopped on track nearly. We're going to go for 3, 4, 5 overtakes, but we get a contact with Albon. Brings up our front wing that we might have a bit of damage, but nothing that's going to affect us. It didn't look like it was damaged. Stroll gets a slide, but we're now up to P13. So we've made good progress, but not as much as I'd like at this point. We're going to line it up on Lance Stroll as well and go round the outside of him, leaving him just a car's width. as we go a bit deep, but manage to hook it back up and miss the apex, unfortunately. We will just be within inside DRS of George Russell as well, and Oliver Bearman. So that brings us up to P12 as we're going for top 10 drivers now. Once we get past Russell, that'll be us inside the points positions.
Higher than we're expecting. We've got a new strategy available on your MFD if you want it.
On lap 5 now, Maggots back at Sun Chapel, and we're still within half a second of Russell, but nothing special. We're not managing to get an overtake. The dirty air is just too much, but we're managing to keep up ever so slightly. We got first track limit warning, just a bit of lapse of concentration there. Lance Stroll's within a quarter of a second of us, make that 3 tenths nearly, 8 tenths behind George Russell. We go deep into the corner, not the line we really would have wanted. Lance Stroll puts a nose up the inside, and we cut back in though, still within 7 tenths of George Russell, so we should still be able to keep DRS going on to the back straight if we manage to stay within that 1 second window. As we close right up to back of him, go a little bit deep, miss the apex, get a bit of a slide, but nothing we can't handle. Coming back out of this corner, we're still within it. We think cars on the softs should be pitting lap 6, but I reckon they probably go to lap 8 as that was the strategy the game wanted to be on. But my tyre wear's not very good around here. As we go deep again, I can't get this section right. Managed to hook the apex up, but I feel like we were slower that time around than any other lap. Barely using any fuel, way too much of the car. Did not realise how well we would be burning. And it's going to go with them as well, so we kind of want to be getting past these cars as soon as possible, or hoping they're hitting at the end of this lap. I reckon they could probably go to lap 8 if they can. We'll try and go to lap 10. Once again, we're still not able to close up on them. The gap is still 6 tenths, but we can try and close up a little bit, but I don't think we're going to be able to do anything. Our hope is that some of the cars ahead pit, so we'll keep an eye on the minimap in the bottom left. If Piastri pits, I believe he's on the softs probably, if everyone else is, he could be pitting this lap. If he doesn't, we're going to have to make the passes on track before we pit. On lap 8, it looks like the AI will probably be doing the same strategies as now, just different tyre compounds. So I reckon they'll be pitting to mediums, but we'll be pitting to hards, so it will slow us down a little bit, but we can make the time up with tyre wear advantage. It's still due to be announced when for the we're still about halfway through lap 7, coming into the third and final sector with about 20 seconds left of this lap. We're still half a second behind George Russell as we go deep, nearly making contact with him. That tyre icon in the bottom right showing that our tyres are over 60%. They're probably close to puncture range at this point, which is 80%. So we don't really want to be letting them get anywhere close to that, or over it at least. If they hit 80, as we're putting into this, it's not a problem. 69% on tyre wear. Going on to the final lap of our strategy with this tyre, as we'll be pitting onto the hard compound tyres again. But we get another massive snap, lose 1 or 2 tenths to George Russell again. Going onto this corner as we're going to get a wash of dirty air and understeer with DRS opening, going under the DHL sign into Maggots, Beckett and Chapel once again. We're going to be pitting at the end of this lap with 79% on that front right tyre. As we slow it down, can we get it stopped? We can, just below the pit speed limiter. Obviously this is a lower speed circuit coming into the pits, but we've got George and Verstappen in front of us, so hopefully we can jump one of them in the pits maybe. Do we get a good stop? It's a 2.5, but we get held slightly on exit, but we managed to come out just behind Verstappen. He's on medium compound tyres, but we jump George Russell and keep our position to Lance Stroll, who are both on the hard compound tyre. Oh no, sorry, Stroll is on the medium tyre, but our tyres are going to be very cold coming out of the pit, so we've got to get a good launch coming out of the exit in hopes of getting Verstappen. Get a decent launch, but the tyres are warming up ever so slightly with the wheel spin, but this corner is going to make or break it, and we go down to the wrong gear. And we slow down too much when I'm just outside of a second, but not at the DRS detection point, so hopefully we can get back with him. We've got a 3.3 second gap to Charles Leclerc, as Piastri, I believe that would be Kimi, Alonso and Hamilton have stayed out. They'll be pitting on this lap, so hopefully we'll be able to undercut them, because their tyre wear should be roughly similar to ours. As we miss the apex, that's going to become a trend over the next 5 or 6 laps maybe. We're going to be missing that apex a lot as Oscar Piastri pits.
Oscar's coming in for his stop now.
Going on to lap 10 out of 18 now. Other cars are in the pits. We set purple final sets, but go deep. That was going to compromise our entrance into this corner as well as our exit, as we're going to come out just behind Carlos Sainz. If we hadn't had that side, I reckon we would have been just ahead and would have kept our position to be behind Max Verstappen. But we're going to open the DRS battery at 31.2%. as we put it in non-mode to recharge going through this sector, as we won't be needing much battery power. Mainly leave it in medium or none for this track. You want to use overtake quite a lot. If we get a yellow flag, what's this for? That's Lewis Hamilton's front, who's been massively just missed collision with Carlos Sainz getting a legal overtake. But we've already pulled out second, he's 3 positions down, so we're just going to keep pushing. We're going to take the penalty, hopefully it's 5 seconds, but it should be a 10-second penalty if the stewards are feeling harsh today, and it is a 10-second penalty, but we'll be alright. We'll be able to catch up to Max and Alonso and hopefully pull out 10 seconds and minimise the damage done by that penalty. Looking at it now, looks like that's probably where we'll finish. Just count this week out of the penalty. Effectively, that was more of a winning action. Carlos and Hamilton's done. Good centre one here. Try and get close to being within the DRS of Verstappen. Catch back up to the front train. He's still being slowed down by Leclerc and Verstappen. George Russell at DRS. He's not better than the fuel again. Probably could have won the fuel for them. Made out of lots of fuel. A lot of time with extra fuel. Just come out of Cops Corner now, going down the new DRS straight, but without DRS as we aren't within 1 second of the car ahead. We're 1.5, but we managed to pull out 7 tenths to Yuki Tsunoda and a further 9 tenths to George Russell, who's been overtaken by Yuki in that Red Bull. Will be Hadjar next year though, so that's exciting. Also this year, we're setting 2 green sectors, so hopefully we'll go for fastest lap here. But we are in the DRS train of, we're close to getting within the DRS train of the leaders here, who I believe are being led by a Sauber of Nico Hulkenberg. So I think he's pit as well, so he's massively undercut the entire field, which is good strategy from him. As we set the fastest lap of 1:29.6, but we should be able to beat that once we get within DRS, which it looks like. Are we going to do it this lap? No, we're not, as we're still a 10th, just over a 10th out of it. Yeah, we won't get DRS going on to this lap. We've got the 10-second penalty. Once again we set another purple setter, this time about 3-4 tenths faster. It's a massive train forming in front. Cars going very slowly as we're going to get within the DRS of Max Verstappen, and still with that 10-second penalty, but we've got a 2.6 second gap to Yuki Tsunoda behind and a 3.2 second gap as we go fastest again with a 29.372, which isn't a bad lap on these hard compound tyres. But once again we're within DRS of the train ahead, so hopefully we can stay with them to minimise the damage of that 10-second penalty. Looks like Leclerc and Walter Lattimore or Hulkenberg, whichever the Sauber is, have done their pit stop and just recently undercut everyone, so it could be a little bit of Sauber. Right, we are lap 13 once again, but 2 yellow setters as we get a massive send close to the rear of that Red Bull, massively being able to read the sponsors on that rear wing as if it wasn't big enough. We're going to burn some overtake to get very close, hopefully go for a send into turn 1, but I doubt it as we're too far back and don't risk it. And we're going to stick with that DRS straight as we've got a 3.3 second gap to Yuki Tsunoda. We're not pulling out enough as we go on to lap 14 with 5 laps to go. We're going to try and stay as close as we can to Max to maybe try and outdrag him with battery, DRS and hopefully lower wings. But we got massive understeer again. Going onto this straight, we can't get a good exit. We're now 5 tenths behind, so we'll just put the battery back in non, recharge, and try and go again on the next DRS straight. Right, we're really close to the back of Max Verstappen now, so we're going to go for a massive send, probably further back than we would have liked as he leaves the room. Very uncharacteristic of Max, sometimes from that far back he would not be leaving room for Lando Norris or any driver in that game. So we're going on to lap 15, that's another clean lap at 1:30.2, so we're losing about a second, but I think that's from battling, as we're going to miss the apex on the inside for turn 2. We're right behind Fernando, about half a second ahead of Max, 3.6 to Tsunoda, so once again that 10-second penalty is really going to hurt us as we go onto the back straight for the first DRS zone of this lap. Had made a couple of changes first time on this specific track, but once again, we're 4 tenths back from Alonso, sorry, 3 tenths back as we're going to go for a massive send again probably. Yes, we are. And we just avoid contact with him. Just avoid contact. Very good racecraft from Fernando Alonso there as he leaves the room, but we get a little bit of slide as we're coming up to the back of Kimi Antonelli, who's also on the medium compound tyre. Oscar Piastri is on the hard tyres, so not the strategy I expected from the 3rd place finish for the 2025 World Champion. As we miss the apex again, but clip it for the 2nd turn, we can't get that right as we're just inside the DRS zone of Kimi Antonelli. We get a decent turn, but nothing special, nothing that I'd get excited about. We're going to burn the battery a little bit and then put it back into non-mode to recharge. Once again in the same position, 4 tenths to Alonso, 8 tenths to Max, as we're going to go for a send on Kimi Bison. When we make contact, as we lock up, are we going to, no, we're going to keep that position. Felt like we should have given it back, but with that 10-second penalty, I think I'm just going to push on sorry Kimi about that one, as our tyres are on 62% on that front right, wearing too much I think, but it should be enough as we go on to lap 17 of 18, following Oscar Piastri here. We're using the chrome livery for the McLaren. We are in equal cars, so that would explain why Hulkenberg is able to keep that Sauber up in first. He's a skilled driver that could probably do that in a quick car, but that Sauber was not very quick this year. Sorry, last year. Right, we're now going on to the final lap of the race, and this is where we kind of want to be making overtakes. I would like to finish on track on the podium, even though that 10-second penalty is going to drop us probably just outside of the points, maybe P10, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. We are going to get another bad exit following Oscar Piastri's. That tyre is on 73%, similar to the mediums, onto the final lap. They are in puncture range nearly. Hopefully they're alright. Thank God Hulkenberg is slowing down these cars in front of us. We would not be catching up to this extent. Even though we're not really managing to overtake people, we are managing to stick with them as we miss Copse Corner. Kimi almost looks up the inside there. I didn't realise that when we were racing. Right, we're going to brake harsh here. Get a good turning considering the tyre web. Are we going to get a slide? No. We're going to cut the apex maybe a bit too much, but get the slide there. So I don't know if we're going to be able to go for this end on Piastri as much as I'd like to, but we'll see what we can do. As do we go for it? I think we can. Yeah, we'll go for the sand. No contact, he just avoids it. We're side by side, but he clips the curb and clips us. Are we going to be able to get him back? ERS, battery usage, overtake enabled. We're going to send it around the outside, squeeze him a little bit as retaliation, and we'll cross the line in P3. However, with that 10-second penalty, it's P12, so just outside the points. But it wasn't a bad race from us, and we get driver of the day, which is very nice. Not going to complain about that too much.
And Nico Hulkenberg, at long last, can grab...
But Hulkenberg got a win, so that's good. We like to see that.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing.
That was the first video recording with my voice. I'm a W1 sim racer racing for McLaren in the season. We're leading championship with 3 races to go. Every Thursday for the next 3 weeks. This week's Qatar. Once again, all setups used are done by Sim Racing Stewards, who are a sponsor. So massive thank you to them, and I'll see you in the next one.